And we are live. Hello, and welcome to our fifth session of Putting Your Best Foot Forward with ACE. Today, we talk about difficulties when we return to work after a break. People take breaks in career, it's a fact of life. Due to personal reasons, ranging from mental to physical health to childcare to spouse care, taking care of your parents, or you could be a trailing spouse. We understand. All of us here at ACE Your Career, are strong advocates of return to work. We are, in fact, a support group who has first hand knowledge and holistic view of the challenges of return to work. We want to help people, irrespective of their gender, in overcoming the hurdles and ease the struggles that we all face when we decide to return to work. During the work or while on a break, we are in it together with you. We have a large team of mentors, coaches, psychological counselors, student counselor to help you and your family as well. I'm your host, Guneet, and I'm a life coach and a strong advocate of return to work. Let us welcome our guest, Ms. Neha Verma, today. Neha is a human resource professional with 10 years of comprehensive experience as HR business partner. She is a pass out from Xavier Institute of Social Service and last worked as associate director in an international leading bank. She has worked her way up from being a management training to associate director while getting married and raising a special needs girl child. I think that is amazing and speaks of grit and determination for Neha. Please welcome our guest, Neha Verma.
Hi, everyone. A very
Hi.
warm good morning, and thank you so much for having me here.
Very welcome, dear Neha, to our show. Put your best foot forward, ace your career. Sorry, excuse me. So, Neha, can you please tell our audience a little about yourself and your journey?
Sure. So, I come from the state of Jharkhand, and I started my career within a very popular construction engineering company in Gurgaon, where I worked as a management trainee for 1.5 years. And thereafter, I moved to Hyderabad. At that point of time, my fiance was working here, and that was one of the motives of moving here to Hyderabad. And I joined L&T Metro Rail here. You would have all seen the metro rail, which now goes all across Hyderabad. So when I joined this company, it was in the planning and construction phase. And I got a great opportunity to work with a great team of HR individuals. And I was reporting to the head HR here, building the company and doing all the wonderful work that came along. After a few years, I was on my family way. And as I think every woman sort of goes through the dilemma of choosing motherhood or career, I went through the same. And after a considerable thought, I went ahead and pursued my career. Luckily, my parents pitched in for me in whatever ways they could help me. And I had to get back to work with my 16 weeks of newborn baby, which was very challenging at that point of time. And after that, I moved to another industry, the IT product industry, which was very different from the construction conglomerates I was working in. And it brought a lot of changes in me in terms of an HR professional. And also, I learned, how women in the workforce, bring changes in the organization as well. Okay.
That's
And after spending around 4.5 years in the IT company, I again looked for industry change and moved into one of the international bank as the regional Hyderabad head and HRBP.
that's amazing. That's an amazing journey, Neha. Starting from starting from a management trainee to being an associate director, and it is rife with struggles. A lot of decisions that all of us, go through as women. We go through. So Neha, tell me, you mentioned that you had to join back work after 16 weeks of giving birth. So how easy or difficult was it to get back to work? Within that short time with a newborn baby, where we are all just struggling to adjust to the baby, you know, building that bond. So tell me about that.
It was difficult, and you leave your infant child at home. Your body is recuperating from a C-section. You're going through a lot of emotional and physical, changes yourself. It's not an easy task, and those era, I would say now it's a lot of changes that we can see in the labor laws of the country as well. There was only 12 weeks of maternity leave that you could, further add your own personal leaves or extend it on an unpaid, level. All women, if they were looking forward to, progressing their career, they had to come back within, 3 to maximum 4 5 months, right? And I've seen a lot of changes that have gone through the laws of the country that now help women to, stay in the job rather than, choosing one or the other path of career or motherhood.
Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that wonderful? I mean,
Yes.
the country's moving forward with respect to that, basically giving importance and value to the family life as well. That's a beautiful change that HR is bringing in. So Neha, you mentioned that you worked in a construction engineering company, and then you also worked in a software company. So as a woman and as an HR professional, what differences did you find between the HR policies of those two companies?
Yeah, see,
Not just
construction, owing
the
to
work, sorry,
yeah.
sorry. I just wanted to mention not just the HR policies, the work environment as well.
Yes, sure. So, see, by the nature of its job, right, construction is primarily a male driven industry, right? Because you have to be on the ground and do a lot of work, which I'm not saying that women are not capable of doing, but at times we prefer a more conducive environment for our type of work. Okay. And IT in Hyderabad has a lot of women, and a lot of women are taking up science, STEMs as a career, right? So there are a lot of women in IT. So what you see is, a lot of women leaders in decision making position in IT and product companies, wherein there is a genuine empathy with the other women who are, themselves going through different phases of their life, whether it's getting married, whether it's going through a motherhood, or even later part of time, when they're struggling between raising up children or, taking care of the work, right? So a lot of times we see that changes, when there is a man who is making a decision and there is a woman who is taking a decision, a lot of empathy comes naturally in the way. um, and secondly is, by the time I joined the IT industry, the government itself was, implementing lot many changes. So the Maternity Benefit Act, it extended the 12 weeks to 24 weeks of maternity benefit. There was creches that were, asked to be set up near, or near the companies, or the companies would tie up with creches and reimburse a certain amount to the women employees. And there were other benefits as well, like flexi timing or work from home at times, when there is a special case, like for example somebody is going through a very high risk pregnancy, or somebody is going through an IVF. Of course, based on the performance, their past, past behavior and other things, but these are also open, and IT industry is far more open to, experimenting with these ideas as opposed to the construction industry.
Thank you so much, Neha, for sharing this. That's really insightful. At this point, let me also welcome our other guest, Ms. Nupur Mukherjee. Nupur has worked as global managing director in one of the leading banks, and she is an advanced HR analytics expert with coding expertise. She's heading the ESG sustainability, and not to mention that she's the co founder of ACE Your Career. Put your best foot forward. Earlier in an episode, we had her as a guest, but today she joins me as a fellow interviewer. And Neha, she has really expressively wanted to ask you a few questions. So may I please introduce Nupur Mukherjee. Nupur, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Guneet. And Neha, lovely to hear your experience. So, I have a few questions, and this is on behalf of everybody. Okay. So, HR has been called multiple names. We always think, and as a leader, many times when I didn't have a complete, distinct answer, and the person didn't want to wait in front of me, I always said, let me check with HR and come back. That is, y'all are our disaster recovery when it comes to conversations, right? But that being said, Guneet started this ACE enterprise, and coming from a tech background and people cognitive skills background, uh, the jumpstart or the comeback of your work doesn't only mean when you're taking a career break. With the recent IT retrenchments or skill rejects that are happening, it's very necessary for us to understand how to represent ourselves better and how to bounce back better, and not bounce back after the calamity but prepare for it beforehand. So Neha, my very candid and insightful question to you, and what you want to tell to other HR is, I have seen many times that in women's career there are lots of career jumps. They change jobs or there are career breaks, but they are compared as equal to someone else who's also had that many job changes. So, what would your expert as an industry thought leader, your observation would be when you screen such clients, screen such candidates, and see the resume? What are the things that you look out for? And such a candidate who has had so many changes, what should they include in their resume so that it's a rain check? Could you please enlighten our group?
Sure. So a lot of times, when recruiters come to us with resumes wherein the skill is there, but there are a lot of career changes or, like company changes, what we ask the recruiters is to ask for the reason. So there are reasons wherein, like you said, there could be a change of location, there could be a maternity break, or there could be some other personal reasons, right? Other personal ways people have taken. It's fine if those changes are genuine, and at times we prefer not asking for any personal reasons as well, right? So if there are 7 changes, yes, within a span of 3 or 4 years, right, then I would definitely ask what made the person make so many changes. But then if there are 7 changes over a period of 20 years, those changes doesn't matter. So right, it depends on from resume to resume. In most of the progressive companies that are there, and I have also had an opportunity to work with, we don't ask personal questions at all in any of the interviews. Okay, so and that means why you did that, why you did this, how are you going to manage your work after coming back. These questions are not asked. What we look at is the skill and the competency. If the person is capable, you are on board, irrespective of where there are career changes, or if there are career breaks. And it is for everyone, whether it's a man or a woman. But yeah, especially emphasizing women, because they tend to take at times more break than men. That is what is seen all across. Secondly is that when we ask these people to join, right, who are coming back from a career break, there is now no more a concept of percentage increment. Okay, so if you have been hired for a certain position, you come at your peer level. So it doesn't matter whether you took 2 years or 3 years gap, you would be placed on at your peer level. So it's not like you are now trailing behind from the market. right? But at the same time, what you need to keep in mind is once you're paid at your peer level, you're also assumed to perform at your peer level, right? So and lot of these many companies, they have special programs, career comeback programs. And if you go do a Google check, you'll see they also prepare some of these individuals once they are on board for 2 to 3 months before they actually go on the job. So that is a very, very you know welcome change that I'm seeing in the industry for past 2 3 years, especially after the pandemic has hit us.
And that's very insightful for all those who want to join back. They want to come back to the mainstream of having a career, as well as, taking care of other responsibility. That's very insightful. Thank you for sharing that, Neha. And
Thanks, Neha, because I know in my earlier part of my life, I've been a trailing spouse. And when I used to be compared to, let's say, a male counterpart, and, they used to say, why did you change your job? And the person said, for better opportunities. And my own story has been that I've been very well awarded at work. But since I was following my spouse around, every 2.5 years, 3 years, I had to move. So that doesn't make me a disloyal employee. But right now, I think thanks to Guneet and you, I do mention that, yes, I've been a trailing spouse. And that's about it. One last question, and that too because, I'm sorry, I'm being a little astrological about it, but Mauka hai and Dastur hai. So right now we are on 29th of October, 29th of September, and October appraisal season is going to start, right? One of the things that I have noticed while I was in the corporate world is we spend less than half an hour in filling up our performance objectives. That could be in the success factors um, or a work day or whatever system, whether there is a bell curve or not bell curve. We have to write those objectives, right? And we are even more lazier in doing our monthly or a quarterly follow up with our N plus ones, or, N plus ones have their own busy schedules, but we also need to feel the initiative and to represent our work and have a very good documented trail. But on the same hand, if you write our appraisal very well, then there is a chance of earning thousands, if not lakhs, in your increment, or even getting that promotion that you've been always working for. But we as people are ready to fight for 15 minutes for 10 rupees extra that the Uber guy tries or the auto wala asks us. Why do we not do the same sort of effort for thousands and lakhs or maybe even crores of rupees that we might get from the increment? That is throughout. It's not about just networking and making sure you're in the boss's good books. uh, the second part of it, and this is, you have to please tell the truth, okay? And Gunit, let's put our helmets on as well, because
Yeah.
boss stones might come. If your boss says, bhai tu mera kaam kar de, promotion guaranteed. In today's world, where we've had scenarios where the bosses have promised promotion to 50 people to make sure there is less attrition. We all know what that single digit or maximum to maximum double digit promotion list is. What is your advice to the employee and also to seniors who are making these promises? What should we do this year differently in 2023? Whether we are, looking for promotion or we are submitting our appraisal this time, how do we ace it out? We want to hear it from the HR. And please say the truth. We are ready to take the risk.
Sure. So I'll come to the first part of the question, right? About the appraisals. So a lot of employees, they think that it's just an year-end activity, but performance management is, an entire year, progression on what you're doing. So it starts with the beginning of the year, how realistically you have set up the goals. Okay. So now today, if I'm just giving a very layman example, today as an HR professional, if I say I'll do 100 interviews in a day or a month, and it's unrealistic, right? I'm never going to achieve it by the end of the day. So how realistically you have set up your objectives with your manager, right? Because now everything is matricized. So whether it's in percentage, whether it's in terms of money, or whether it's terms of time, right? How good you are in understanding your own strengths and then betting on yourself in the beginning of the year. That okay, I'll be able to take these many of whatever A, B, C number of goals are there. And then comes, as you rightly said, monthly or quarterly check-ins, wherein you have been given a feedback. Okay, I did these two tasks or these two particular goals, and this is how I'm trailing behind, or I'm ahead or leading, whatever it is, right? And not only having a dialogue there, you need to uh, record those. So a lot of all the companies have some or other way of recording these. They have their internet they have their own tools. You can do it on Excel also, whatever seems in on a mail, whatever seems possible at your end in your company, right? You can do all those things. And then comes the year end part, which is October, November, when you're finalizing everything. Now, this is the time when you look at those moments wherein you had the catch up with your manager and build a narrative. I i i set up this for myself. I have worked on this many cases. I have saved these many time, in terms of matrices, time, my money, quality, whatever you have delivered in. And this is how I look by the end of the year. And now that I have done all these things, where are the things that you promised me, right? Whatever A, B, C are there, right? So now coming to the second part of the question, when you are a manager and you have overpromised something. So see, it may work for you the first year because people don't know you, but as a manager who is going to be there, they will know your style of working, that you have a habit of overpromising, and then no one will take you seriously in the going or the coming years. But how does a promotion work, right? Not everyone will be promoted every year, right? There is a certain org design. It is pyramid in shape, wherein it forms junior employees, middle management, and senior management, right? So at every level there's a cutoff that you have to pass on to need go to the next level. So if you're promising something that is not possible, and then you are going back and telling them, hey, HR said this and HR said that, or my senior manager did that, or something like that, one, you are undermining your own power, undermining your own authority, that you don't have a say in any of these things. Secondly, you're creating a boogeyman for others to blame, right? Whether it's your senior management or whether it's HR, right? And after, as I said, third, maybe one cycle it works, second cycle it works, third cycle no one is going to take you seriously. So don't do that. Don't overpromise. Tell them what is in your scope, and that how you would present their cases, but the ultimate decision lies with with the senior management, right? Because that is how promotions work. You start creating a list from the beginning of the year. You have certain people who have been performing, they have the credentials for 2 to 3 years, right? And you are watching them for that particular year, and then their names come in the end. And in that also, because we have 7 to 8%, there is a certain percentage cutoff, right? That you can only promote over a year. Only those credible cases will go forward, right? So promoting 50 people, no, not possible from your team, right?
So thank you, Neha, for this, sharing it on this open platform. That's really nice of you to have shared it, and courageous, I must say, because
Absolutely.
most
And
people, yeah, most
one of
people
the
will
one of the
kind
nicest
yeah.
one of the nicest and hard hitting HRs who were telling us beforehand rather than saying, "Sir, I will take care of you next year," right? And
Yeah.
you kind of it is like you're rotting in purgatory. Hey, but
Hmm.
Guneet, this also comes up with something very interesting that you said. You had told me that having a beauty at home and the world knowing there is a beauty in the house, there's a huge difference, right? So,
Absolutely.
Neha ji, in this case, when you're saying that you would need to represent your work, smart goals, quantify them, and bring and being able to advocate for yourself. Could it, based on the people that you are talking to, and you're seeing their LinkedIn profiles, and especially in today's AI world, what do you think is necessary in terms of making a person go there and represent himself? Because we are a billion people, right? How
Yeah.
will they know that you are that beauty in that house?
Yeah, okay, मतलब as they say, जंगल में मोर नाचा किसने देखा. So it's the same
हमको देखना है.
analogy. Yeah, it's the same analogy. um, whatever you do, if you don't tell it, if you don't represent it, if you don't bring it forth, then nobody knows this, nobody notices this. It's like, you're doing it daily chores, and the day you don't do, that's when they start noticing, or when you mention it to everyone that I had a busy day and I have been, doing all this and this. So in that aspect, in that respect, keeping that in mind, I would really so I we have now opened up our coaching, mentoring, and help. We have extended it to the people who are looking for promotions or job retaining. They want to be retained in the jobs. So we've because the appraisal is right around the corner. So if you want help in that, please do let us know. We can help you, and our team is very resourceful. We can help you, guide you through it. So come to ACE and we'll be there to help you. You'll not be disappointed. So
And it's
coming back,
quick, right, Gunit? It's
sorry,
quick.
it
It's
is
quick.
quick.
4 to 6 weeks. I've seen you turn around, and recently we have had a case where a person comes in and says, Madam, मैं BP हूँ, and my name is on a list. And I said, what? Are you going to the ghetto or something? क्या हुआ है? नहीं, मेरा नाम list पे आ गया है. So I said, अच्छा है, मतलब people know you. So we started from that area where the person's name was on a retrenchment list and he was communicated. And thanks to Gunit ji's, making the more come out, the more in you come out for everyone to see. Not only has this person got, accepted back into a much, much more better position within the same organization, he also has now representing himself better on LinkedIn. And his score, there's something called as a social selling index on LinkedIn, which is a very baseline on how well the LinkedIn responses come through. His score increased by 70% better in just these 6 weeks. Usually, if you and me try, this takes at least 13 months. Even all the top influencers will tell you. But Gunit ka ye ace mein kuch to jadoo hai where it helps you put your best foot forward. That too, she did it in 4 to 5 weeks. So it's not only people ki boss, you don't have a job, you're coming back. If you have a job also,
Yeah.
there's no guarantee that you will continue to keep on succeeding in it. And like Neha ji said, it has to be constant effort, constant reinventing and putting and representing yourself forward. That's one thing, Neha ji, I learned. Maybe if I had met you 15 years back, we would have started ACE much, much more earlier. So, Gunit, absolutely kudos to you. And Neha, always a pleasure. Thank you for answering. Over to you, Gunit.
Thank you so much, Nupur and Neha. So while we were discussing, you mentioned that you have, after so many years, you have taken a break from your career. So why now? Why? I mean, I'm just curious.
Sure. So I have a special needs child, and she was going to normal daycare when I was working in the IT industry. But when pandemic hit us, we couldn't enroll her in a school because one, not many inclusive schools are there in Hyderabad. Secondly, she would not be able to follow, online classes. So we started homeschooling her from the onset of pandemic. And what we found is, while her academic was ongoing and we managed ourselves, having, taking her therapies and providing her the care that she actually needs, that lot of her skills, like communication, socialization, those were lagging behind, right? And so last year, when everything started opening up and we really, wanted her to go back to the mainstream, a regular school, so we had to prepare her first, and that is where I, decided to take a break to prepare her. And fortunately, this year she got into a regular school, where also we have to handhold her a lot, and I hope in coming years she becomes more independent, so that I can again go back to work.
That's very sweet. That's very sweet. And I really admire your determination and grit to help your daughter. And that's really commendable. And I think people with special needs child really have to put in, a lot extra as compared to people who have normal children. And I must say, we should have more schools, but I think it's still a dream.
Yeah,
Uh,
but
you know,
Neha, I have one observation. No? I'm saying this as a cognitive expert, okay? Um, when men take a break from work, maybe to support their spouses, their special needs child, or their parent, they're saying they're taking a break for the family,
yeah,
which is same thing that you're doing.
yeah,
But there is one word, and it is for both males and females, and absolutely gender agnostic. Please don't say you're taking a break from work, because what you're doing is way more work than what we put in corporate. It's a
Yes.
different type of work.
Yeah.
And what
Let's
you
say I'm
feel
taking break from corporate job. Yeah.
from a corporate job, yeah, that is corporate job very time. This is a 24 by 7. This is what chaos leadership is all about. This is what you prepare for C-suite for. This lesson of life is not going to be given in an MBA school. When you come back in this AI world, these human cognitive skills, management skills. How to manage in crisis where everything is okay, you're managing, that's no big deal, right? When things are ambiguous, you do not know how the child's going to respond, you don't know how your team's going to respond, and you still make sure everything is even keel. That sort of human skills is what comes as a premium in tomorrow's world. So please, you're working, and in fact, if there's any way that Gunit and I can help you, and in fact, like I said, that you're partnering with us, it's such a joy that you're making the best out of the situation, and shining a light for many of us who's looking onto you. Gunit, thank you for
So much.
inviting Neha so much. This is just brilliant. I'm feeling very happy, and to start my weekend on such a very positive note.
yeah. So I would also want to. I just received a LinkedIn newsletter, which I would want to share with our audience. So, Director of Global Coaching of S&P Global, Mr. Abhijit Bhattacharya, he says that to achieve career security, professionals in India have had to endure various challenges, such as relocating to different cities and staying away from family. However, the pandemic brought about a shift in priorities, which is so true. So the employees are being bold about protecting what they sacrificed for so long. And that's so true that hybrid and remote work options help employees achieve more balance in their lives. And employees are realizing that more every day. So I can, on this note, I can say that, Neha, that I can empathize with what you're going through. But tell me, after the pandemic, what kind of work environment would you be more comfortable with?
Sure. So, in my unique situation, I would definitely prefer something of remote working and flexi timing that sort of helps me to, balance between the work and rather than balance, I would say integrate between the work and my family
Sure.
priorities.
Yes, absolutely. And since you're from HR, um, you have done, as you mentioned earlier, you have done a lot of hiring. So, can you give our viewers some pointers to write a good resume, please?
Sure. So, your resume is the first thing that a recruiter notices, right? And it has to be capturing the essence of what you have done over the years of your corporate life. So, one, it should be very, very succinct. Okay. So, it should not be more than 1 or 2 pages. Okay. Secondly, it has to show a timeline or capture a story wherein you can see that, okay, if I talk about me, right, that you started as a management trainee, the next job took you to this level, next job this level, and now at this job, this is the level that you are talking about. Thirdly, it does not need to have all the activities that you have done. Okay, one of the major problem that people do is they write everything they have done in the job. No, you have to just write your KPIs, key performance indices or indexes that you were asked to do in that job, right? So that makes it very easy for a recruiter to go through your resume and understand what level of responsibilities you are going through. Third is, although your resume template remains the same, um, you need to sort of customize your resume to the job you're doing, your job you're applying to. So at times we see, and because I'm an HR, I get a lot of resumes on as an open message. Oh, this is my resume. Please give me a job. No, that doesn't work, dear. Go to the company that the HR you're contacting for. And then go through the job that is available. So even in HR, there are 10 different types of portfolios, right? So do your homework, go find a match for yourself, and then tell the HR person or anybody who is hiring that, hey, I found this job that suits my profile, and please, refer me to this job, or, take an interview or take it forward. And if you are not ready to do those homework on yourself, then why would anybody else invest time in you, right?
Absolutely. 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 That's amazing. Yeah. And more than I feel anything else, coming back, coming back to corporate life, as we say, it's not coming back to work, but coming back to, a corporate world is a mental, emotional, and professional journey through change. So we should treat it like a fresh journey where we are starting like a baby. We are learning to start to crawl. So crawling first, the turning of the baby will come, and then the crawling would come, and then, then the walking would come, and then eventually maybe running would come at a later stage. So we cannot expect, uh, you know a jump on that. We cannot avoid these stages. We have to. And especially when you have a, start a gap of career break of more than 5 years, then we should do a SWOT analysis. We'll have to make many choices. Like if somebody is giving us a better pay and somebody is giving us a less pay, but it is nearer to our house, the one which is giving higher pay is little far away. So we need to do a SWOT analysis as to what suits us, what works better for us. So all these things into consideration, and do take advantage of mentorship programs. Definitely have a mentor who can guide you through your journey. So, Neha, coming back to industry trends in India and their global impact, how do you think remote work and AI automation are changing the HR landscape?
So a lot of our work has become easier. So earlier, when I joined HR, we used to sort of search through the resumes to find the people and all those things. Now we have, solutions that, or rather than, programs or softwares wherein they can pass through the resume. They sort of act like a skill directory, and the skill you put in, they will throw you the resumes which is there now. No manual input is required. I mean, in terms of, you just need a resume build, I mean, resume portal wherein people are submitting the resumes, and you can take things out. And similarly, in terms of recruitment, if I talk about, there are softwares that facilitate the entire onboarding of a person, the entire interview of the person, in fact, from one a point till the last point when the person becomes your employee, right? So things have become a lot more easier. And I think similarly for other areas wherein, when pandemic was there, we needed to contact people in times, we had a lot of apps which helped us to communicate directly on mobile, sent an alert to all the thousands of employees in one go, right, that tomorrow it's going to be like this, and this is how you need to be prepared. And so things have got easier, and we have come to understand that remote working is as productive as as going to office is. It's not that the productivity gets hampered.
Yeah, and as per the reports, that people find more and more people are preferring hybrid jobs or remote jobs. because it helps them balance their other life, their personal life as well. They can get time to pursue their other whatever things that they want to do. Maybe they want to take up a hobby, or maybe they want to, look after somebody in their home, or whatever time. So it increases the balance of life. So tell me, how does hiring get affected with AI and automation?
So of course the interviews that used to be in person, right now there are many interviews that happen in through, like for example, this particular meeting could have been a physical meeting, right? But we are doing all it virtually, which suits everyone, right? And decreases the cost, it decreases the time that we need to arrange and all those things. Similarly, in recruitment, those things have become easier. As I said, there's a skill directory that helps us, and a lot more things related to how do you do the payroll, how do you do the operations management in HR, right? Apart from recruitment as well.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Neha, for sharing your insights and your views. And thank you so much, Nupur, for joining us and bringing out that how you need to strategize, both of you, how we can strategize our appraisals as well, how we can work on the appraisals, how we should devote more time to the appraisals as well. So thank you. And remember, for our audience, there's no one size fits all approach to career. There is nothing like one size fits all. It has to be all customized, personalized, and always go in for a mentor or a coach or an institution which can help you through your journey, not just at one point of your journey, but throughout your journey. So take help if you want to stay in your career, if you want to do better in your career, if you want to do a career comeback, if you're looking for a new, if you're looking for a career change. You have to look for an organization which will help you through all the stages of life, not just at one point, because that maintains the continuity. With that, we sign off today, and thank you so much for joining us. Have a lovely weekend.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day.